Have you ever noticed a difference in how you feel when you're in a clean, spacious environment compared to one that's cluttered and messy and there's just stuff everywhere? Chances are you don't feel your best in a cluttered environment. Maybe it stresses you out, maybe it triggers anxiety for you or exacerbates either of those things. And here's the thing, you are actually not alone in this, and there is a reason why. In fact, over the last decade plus, researchers have spent extensive time studying how clutter impacts us as human beings, and the results are in. In fact, in 2016, in a study done by UCLA, the people within that study who described their homes as either cluttered or messy had elevated levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So clutter does impact us and impacts everybody, whether some people realize it or not. And I do want to point out that within the study, those who described their homes as cluttered or messy had elevated levels of cortisol. Why do I want to point that out? Because I get it. Sometimes the word clutter, we just don't identify with it, or we don't want to say that our stuff in our home is actually clutter, which is disorganized excess. Some people more identify with just mess, and it could just be mess that you're battling in your house. Laundry to be done, dishes to be done, stuff out everywhere, stuff that gets used, loved, and you need, but it's just disorganized and thrown all over the house. So whether you identify with cluttered or that mess or both of those terms, yes, both of those will impact your stress and can trigger anxiety as well. Think about it like this. Every single thing within your physical environment, wherever you are right now, is a magnet for your attention. So the more objects, the more stuff you have in your home or in your workplace or even in your car, those are calling your name and are a magnet for your attention. So it distracts you, it pulls you out from where you need to be, from present time, from being able to focus. In fact, one of my favorite analogies to help paint this picture so well is imagine you just had a really long day, right? You had a long day at home with the kids or at work or a combination of the two. You finally get the kids in bed at night, you kick your feet up, sit down on the couch, about to turn on TV to relax and chill out. Now imagine your partner walks into the room and says, "What are you doing? Get up. There is more work to be done. Do you see this? Do you see all these projects we got to get done?" Right? Chances are you're probably not going to react or respond very well, right? You want to relax and just chill out. Well, clutter does the same thing. Clutter tells us there is more work to be done. Like, get up, there's more to be done. Go, 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 go. And that triggers anxiety in a lot of people. So if you've ever felt that clutter's impacting you in a not very good way, whether that be stress, anxiety, or both, you are not alone. So how do you know if clutter is triggering your anxiety or making it worse? My favorite way to identify this pretty quickly is just to start decluttering. Or maybe you have a room in your house that you already feel amazing in. Maybe that's your bedroom, a space that's spacious, cleaned up, doesn't have a lot of mess or clutter. Simply by going from that room where you feel a physiological response in your body when you spend time in it, like your body just instantly relaxes when you walk through the threshold. Going from a room like that into a room you know is messy or cluttered in your home, and pausing for a second, paying attention to how your body and mind is starting to feel. Is your heart starting to race? Are you starting to feel the stress literally rise within you? Sometimes our bodies get so used to feeling that way that it's harder to identify. So just pause, open up your phone or write it in a little journal how you were feeling when you go from room A, clean, spacious, tidy, to room B, cluttered, messy, frustrating, right? Another thing you can start doing is to just simply spend 10-15 minutes decluttering. Now, don't get overwhelmed. If you're already struggling with anxiety and stress, it can be a really hard thing to dive into clutter because it can feel like an overwhelming task. So again, start a timer for 10-15 minutes, make it small, make it doable, literally focus on a 12 by 12 space, zoom in on one area at a time. I like starting on counters and surface areas because it's a lot more doable. Usually it's just stuff you need to put away and tidy up versus decide if you need to keep it or not. However, if your knee-jerk reaction when you look at something is let it go, don't just put it away, let it go, all right? Donate it, get it out of your house. And then start to, again, notice, how do I feel when I look at this part of the kitchen counter, which is clean, spacious, and all I see is this beautiful vase of flowers that was hiding behind all the clutter beforehand, compared to when I look over here on my right, where I see homework, artwork, papers, mail, junk mail, food, dishes, all these things that I still need to handle. So I think being able to slow down, take 30 seconds and identify how you are feeling, how your body and mind are feeling when you're in an uncluttered environment versus a cluttered environment makes a big impact. Maybe for you, your whole home is cluttered and you just really don't have it in you to get 10, 15 minutes of decluttering in today. That's okay. What I want you to do is literally walk outside your front door, go outside, look at the big sky. Maybe you have some trees in your neighborhood that just make you feel good. Get some fresh air, spend 5 minutes outdoors, drink some water, come back through your front door, and notice then how you feel. This reminds me of a time when I used to feel super anxious coming home from work. I didn't understand why at the time, but hindsight 2020, right? I was excited to come home, see my kids at the end of a very long day, but I started to feel this anxiety rise on that drive home from work. And it was because the second I walked through my front door, I felt like I was walking into another second full-time job, which was just managing all the stuff in my house, the toys, the mail, the dishes. What was I going to cook for dinner? So to cook dinner, I'd have to spend 30 minutes clearing the countertops of all the clutter just so I could start cooking dinner. Didn't really make me want to cook dinner. It made me want to order takeout. It was so stressful. My home was not a refuge. It was not calm. It did not help me do a lot of the things I wanted to do, which was spend time with my family and rest after a long day. So maybe if that resonates with you, just simply start decluttering if you can. Again, make it small, don't get overwhelmed. And even something as simple as clearing off the countertops can help give you momentum and motivation to continue on throughout other areas of your home. So let's approach decluttering in a super mindful way. Maybe for you to keep your overwhelm and anxiety down, that means just committing to getting rid of 5 things a day. Or maybe for you, that means just tidying up the kitchen and living space and play space with your kiddos at the end of the day, just to prevent a lot of that overwhelm that tends to build with expected mess. No matter what that is for you, find it, commit to it, and just commit to getting better, 1% better each and every day. That's truly all it takes. Remember, there's no shame in admitting that clutter negatively impacts you. I think it does everyone. We all just have different kind of like sensitivities to it. So if you felt anxious or stressed in a messy or cluttered environment, you are not alone. Remember to do really simple things to get your family on board and just to get started. And remember, we don't need to aim for perfection here. Sometimes good enough is truly the key. So click the video on your screen now to learn more.